Contrarians, welcome back to the Encrypted Capital Recap for Thursday, October 28th. First off, feels good to be back. Took a couple weeks off, and I wanted to talk to you guys today about having the contrarian mindset. This is what we base our whole company off of. This is what we base our whole YouTube channel off of, is doing the exact opposite of the herd. A contrarian is a person who opposes or rejects popular opinion, especially in stock exchange dealings. This will save you guys a ton of money because we all know that the herd does get slaughtered. And I wanted to point out to you guys that if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, you should definitely do so. We put this out on October 21st. When BTC hit the new all-time high, we said that alts will go parabolic. Now, what's important about this is that we also mentioned in our Discord that we shorted BTC at $66,666. All right, Illuminati confirmed, as someone mentioned in the Discord. But while everybody was going long because Bitcoin broke into new all-time highs, we had the contrarian mindset to go short, and we publicly announced it in our Discord. And here's the screenshots. We're anticipating a stall out here. Lots of liquidity at these levels. Everyone going long. Perfect time for a fake out. 10:45 a.m. that morning. At 3:19, BTC short at 66666. So, having the contrarian mindset, everybody got massively liquidated if they were trading on margin because they all assumed that Bitcoin was going to go way higher. And this is a telltale sign. We had a ton of liquidity sitting above that previous all-time high of 64K. So when you do the exact opposite of the herd, 9 times out of 10, you will succeed. And I've been getting blown up about this Shiba Inu bullshit coin, which is awesome for anybody who's in it, who's made money on it. But as you guys know, we stay away from the meme coins. We just feel that there's coins of better value that you can invest in that will actually be around for a while, because while the public gets on and you can make money, I'm not denying that you can't make money off of it, because you definitely can. Most of the average retail investors will get slaughtered on the way down. Trading is a zero-sum game. For every winner, there is a loser. And while I'm sure there's a ton of people that made money off this 10, 12x gain, there's going to be a lot of people that are getting in around this time, because you got people like Fortune putting out Shiba Inu on their news articles here, and why it's so awesome and why it's getting ridden up and all this other bullshit. You know, we have the contrarian mindset. We're not going to follow what the mainstream public is doing. If we miss a pump like that, we suck it up and deal with it. We know that there's more opportunities in these markets. So, highly recommend sign up for the newsletter. We got the free version and the paid version. If you want the paid version, you're going to get gems like this, where we go into all the other assets that we're looking at, exit strategies, and more. You guys have literally nothing to lose. If you think that $95 a month is worth it to be able to access this data and this knowledge and information, I personally think it's definitely worth it. If you guys don't have that kind of money, no problem. Go ahead, sign up for the free version. We do have overall market sentiment and the top gainers, as well as, you know, if you can't afford it, go to Coin Paprika. Go check out the previous all-time highs. It'll at least help you find these assets that are still significantly off of their all-time high. You know, you don't want to be chasing these pumps, because that's how you're going to get wrecked. I guarantee you, like if I was in Shiba right now, I would be exiting my position 100%. Let's go take a look at it actually. I said in the Discord that I would be exiting yesterday, and we've had some pretty significant price movement. But you got to think, you're already up how much now? I believe it's 12x from the lows over here. We'll just kind of ballpark this as right here. So if you're in an asset and it makes that much money in literally less than a month, you know, these pumps don't last longer than 30 to 60 days. On average, they're about 30 to 35 days. So you guys just made 1,219%. Even my dad was talking about Shiba getting picked up on Reddit. And I told him, I said, if I saw that Reddit was picking up something, and I don't know the whole story, but if this all news was coming out about Reddit possibly getting into whatever it is they're doing with Shiba, that would be your exit point. And so why not take your 12x gains if you've already made those, exit your positions, at least the majority of them. Let's say you pull out 80%, leave 20% into ride, and then you go ahead and you find another asset that is exactly where Shiba was when it started out, all the way back down here. and then you turn that 12x and you get another coin that does 10x, well, guess what? Now you've taken $1,000 and you've turned it into 100. Okay, that's how real wealth is created. That's how you guys can make a killing in these markets. My other buddy told me this morning that he had 4 people telling him to buy Shiba Inu. I said, "There's your sell signal." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "We have 4 people telling you to buy something after it's already gone parabolic and gone up 12x. Take your profit off the table. Why wouldn't you? You'd be an idiot not to, because now there'll be some other news story that comes out that is going to get the exit liquidity going, and it may continue to go a little bit higher. It may just fall back from here. I can't say for sure, but anytime you're up 12x on an asset, take some profits off the table, if not, a large majority of them. So I want to point out to you guys here, also having a contrarian mindset and kind of digging into what's going on in these markets here and what I'm forecasting for Bitcoin is I went ahead and I went to the Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin. This has pretty good data all the way back to 2010. So, Bitcoin was created in 2009. This has probably the most data on it that you're going to see. And so what I went ahead and did here was I went from the previous bull cycle. We noticed that it was 1,463 days. And it's not to say that we're going to do an exact 1,463 days for this cycle, but there is something to be said about these time frames tending to line up after these halvings. We know that about 6 months after the halvings take place, we get a nice rise in the markets, and we're not too far away from the top of Bitcoin. And here we are again. The halving again took place here around May, and we're about just as far. We're about just a little over a year again from the halving. And if we go back to the first halving that took place in 2012, again, you can kind of see that it wasn't long before we had the end of the first cycle of the bull run. So what I'm anticipating here is if we mimic the exact same thing, another 1,463 days, what I'm looking at here then is the end of the bull run for Bitcoin to take place approximately December 12th-ish, somewhere in that second half of December, if we follow the same course. And we also noticed here that we have the Bitcoin ETF that went live the other week. And if we recall, during the last cycle marked by this line right here, when Bitcoin futures went live and the ability to short was made available to institutional investors, that signified the top of the cycle. So if we're at the top of the cycle on Bitcoin right now, I can't say with 100% certainty. I'm sure that we're all aware that some of the bigger players in the space, one in particular, is calling for 75K roughly for the Bitcoin high. And his judgment for that is that we are actually wrapping up a super cycle, meaning that this cycle is not just its own cycle this past year, that we're actually in a continuation from the previous cycle. So if that's the case, his target is somewhere around 75,000. And what do we have just happened? The Bitcoin ETF just went live. So shortly after that, what happened? Everybody FOMO'd in. Encrypted Capital, we shorted the top, 66,666. And sure enough, it turned on itself and dropped below 60. I believe it was like 57 the other day. So make a ton of money off doing the exact opposite of the herd, having the contrarian mindset, not FOMOing into Shiba Inu bullshit coin. It's how you're going to make the most money, period. Having the contrarian mindset. So if we're looking at an end of December run for Bitcoin, what tends to happen is when that rotation takes place, as we saw with Litecoin, its all-time high, I believe, was December 12th or right around that time, 11th or so. And I take that back. It was December 12th of the previous cycle. Litecoin had its all-time high, and sure enough, the very next day, all that money got rotated into XRP, and XRP went on and did its run, and it had another 15x to go within a short time span. I'm talking less than 30 days. January 6, 2018 was the exact top for XRP last cycle. And we also know, if you've been following this channel for a decent amount of time, we know that Toolbag Brian Kelly came out and said on CNBC, he showed everybody how to buy Ripple literally on January 6th, 2018. You can't make this stuff up. That's where the exit liquidity comes into play for these people that have massive, massive positions, people and institutions. They need to get the public on board to be able to sell you their large bags. So, what do? We look where the public is not looking. We look where the institutions are not telling you to look, and that is in other suppressed assets that are significantly off of their all-time high. If you're not sure which ones those are, go ahead, sign up for the newsletter, get the paid version, and you will not be led astray. Also want to point out here too, when we're talking about institutions and people with Bitcoin, I pulled this up. This is Buy Bitcoin Worldwide. I'm not sure exactly when this was published, but it'll give you a general idea of what you're looking at for the amount of people, for the amount of companies and how much Bitcoin they have. So when we're looking at the totals for Bitcoin treasuries between private, public, countries, and ETFs, in total, you're looking at 7% of all Bitcoin. So these are all the big boys, countries, ETFs, right? You got the micro strategies on here, the Teslas, the Galaxy Digitals, etc. Okay, and we don't know how much of their positions they've upped in this time frame or since this was published, but I can guarantee you that Jack Dorsey, Mike Novogratz, Michael Saylor, Elon Musk, it'd be very easy for all of them to get on a conference call and decide when they're going to move what next and how they're going to do it. So if I were the elites and I'm thinking like everybody, hey guys, let's go ahead and take Bitcoin just above its previous all-time high, get everybody to FOMO in, and then we can sell our massive positions that we accumulated on the last low at 30K. We can sell it to them all at 65,000 and make a fucking killing. And that's exactly what happens. Think about how you would work it out if you were with your friends. I have my inner circle over here. I have my friends that I talk to all the time and tell what I'm doing and what's going on in my life and my business. And my other friends that are entrepreneurs tell me what's going on in their business. And if we all wanted to get together and buy something, I guarantee you we probably could. And no one else would know about it because guess what? They're in my inner circle. Same thing happens here. Brian Armstrong of Coinbase. You think that he's not tied in with all these guys? Of course they are. They're all going to work together to sell you their massive positions. So we can keep going down all the way here. Also wanted to point out that you have the Tezos Foundation also has a huge amount of Bitcoin as well. I'm not sure if they're listed on here. Let's go ahead and see if the Tezos Foundation, yeah. So private companies that own Bitcoin, okay? You have private companies that own Bitcoin. Tezos Foundation is on here. The value today, I'm not sure if this auto updates, but I think it might because now they're at $1 billion and before they were at 900 million, I believe. Also important to note, here's another freebie. Lisk Foundation, LSK call sign. Lisk, $116 million worth of Bitcoin. Traded on KuCoin. Where do you think they're going to funnel all their Bitcoin profits into? I don't know. Maybe their own company? Of course they would. Why wouldn't you? You have a massive ass position in Bitcoin. You're not going to go and fund your own coin and pump the shit out of it with all your friends? Of course you are. Why wouldn't you? You'd be stupid not to. Okay? And you got the ETFs, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, etc. You guys know the story. Grayscale's up on there. And let's not forget, you also have the people, like this tool right here, Michael Saylor. He owns a ton of Bitcoin personally. And let's also not forget Satoshi Nakamoto, who no one actually knows who that is, most likely a country or a group of countries or a private company even. I mean, it could be a private company, but you got whoever that person is or country or group, 4.5 billies in Bitcoin. And when people start to notice that that Genesis block is getting sold off, Bitcoin could potentially crash if that happens. And so since no one knows who created it, you have to keep in your mind that it is a very strong possibility that it is a country or a private company. Most likely. If you're looking at who created the internet, that was a military operation created by DARPA, and now the public uses it. And now you have to consider who has created the internet of value and why does no one know who created it? Think about those things for a second. Analyze, have the contrarian mindset. Don't just assume it's some guy in his basement who's good at coding. Okay? I highly doubt that's the case. Most likely, probably a CIA operation, if I had to take a guess. Okay? We know that they control Facebook. We know that they control Instagram. We know that Google controls YouTube. All these big tech companies, all funded by the same companies. In-Q-Tel. Go do your research. Check it out. So, we also have, like I said, talking about the people that own it. We got these Winklevis. Okay, they just look weird. Just weird seeing two of them. It's a digital gold rush, they say. And these guys put all their settlement money from Facebook into Bitcoin and they made an absolute killing. All right? These guys just look scary. I don't know why. I just don't like the way they look. Okay, so they got 3 billies each. Michael Saylor, 2.3 billies. Draper, 1.5 billies. Okay? Sam Bankman-Fried, and you got Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase. Coinbase is basically a bank at this point. Let's not forget, Coinbase has partnered up with Circle, which is funded by Goldman Sachs. They formed the Center Consortium, which formed USD Coin. Can we see how crypto will be utilized in the future? Most likely you'll be using it and you're not even going to be knowing it. All these transactions taking place on the back end, when you're moving money on the back end between Chase or Bank of America and that stuff happens instantly, you think they're not using RippleNet or another system like it? We all know Bank of America cited Ripple in their patents. Most likely you will be using crypto and not even have any clue that that's what you're doing. Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, 8.7 billies, absolutely crushing it. All right? These guys are no joke. Changpeng Zhao, 1.9 billies. Barry Silbert. All these guys can jump on the horn and call each other at any given time. Jed McCaleb, who's got a horseshoe up his ass. He started Mt. Gox. Got insanely wealthy off that right before it collapsed. Then he started Ripple. We all know that with XRP. Got out of that right before the SEC lawsuit, and now he's in Stellar Lumens. I'd love to know who this guy is talking to right here to have that much luck and start literally the top 3 crypto companies that we've ever seen. All right? Absolutely insane. This guy's got very, very deep connections. If you think that you're not being played in crypto, at least the public is, the contrarians aren't, they know what to do. But most of the public is getting played by these people and their media outlets. Like you're getting played on every other front, not just cryptocurrencies. Just look at the world and what's going on now. Engineered crisis after engineered crisis. This is to extract as much wealth as possible and collapse the middle class, which is why they're getting rid of all the business owners. Buying up assets, printing all this crazy money, and buying things of value, tangible assets, gold, silver, real estate, you name it. Buying everything up, and it's like Gregory Mannarino says, being the buyers and lenders of last resort. This is what you're looking at. But if you're in crypto, you can stay in that top tier. You can stay in the elite class and not get sent to the lower rung like some Hunger Games shit. Next up, just look at the news here. Crypto bulls ride the Shiba Inu rally from Fortune 6 hours ago. They're probably emptying their pockets right now to everybody, to the mainstream public. This is how the game is played. I've been in this markets for so long. It's so obvious. And I'm trying to show you guys and teach you guys what to look out for so you don't make the same mistakes I made when I was a noob getting into the game. There's no way the media was this in-depth in it, but they did ban Bitcoin like every other month when we first started out. And it was crazy. It's a crazy whipsaw roller coaster ride. And the worst thing you can do is not take profits in these markets when you get the opportunity to in a crazy cycle like this, because then you got to sit through a bear market for 3 years and watch your 100 grand go down to 10 grand, 9 grand. Sucks. I've been through it before. Do not want to do it again. Take massive, massive profits in these cycles. You have to. Absolutely have to. Do not follow, because in order to make the most profit, you're going to be selling into a massive, massive green candle. And your friends are going to think you're an idiot. They're all going to stay in, telling you it's going to go up forever. This time is different. This time is a super cycle. All this bullshit that I've heard time and time again. Take your profits when you get them. I'm not necessarily going for crazy targets anymore. Obviously, I do have some targets for these assets, But generally speaking, I'm looking to pull profits end of year. End of year, and some of those assets that we mapped out in our newsletter and in our Discord, we found out that Ethereum ended up having its all-time high second week of January. XRP all-time high first week of January. And the other assets were sprinkled in between end of December into January. All right? Do yourself a favor, at least take some profits, maybe have your ride or die bag that you're willing to go into the ground with. You know, maybe 10, 15, 20, 30%, whatever you're comfortable with. But make sure you pull your profits and do not get sucked into the hype. Because the Shiba Inu bullshit coin, which is on an awesome run, I'm happy for any of you guys that made money off of this. But don't get caught up into the hype. If you want to compound your wealth, pull some profits out and stuff them into these other assets that have yet to go parabolic. You'll make an absolute killing. What else do we got here? Also wanted you guys to check out the stuff on Cointelegraph here. Warren accepts crypto payments. ETH 2.0. Matt Damon is plugging crypto.com in a global TV spot. Okay, this is where the marketing campaign is going to ramp up. They're going to try and get everybody into Bitcoin. It may only go up just a little bit higher. You're going to start seeing Ethereum getting talked about all the time on the news as the next best alternative or next best altcoin. And then sure enough, eventually you'll end up seeing Stellar Lumens, XRP, and the rest. How mainstream they go is anybody's guess. But I can tell you for certain, when you see somebody like Brian Kelly telling you to buy Cardano live, I'd recommend selling. So, with that being said, I think that's going to do it for this edition of the Encrypted Capital Recap. If you guys like what you heard, please drop us a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, sign up for the newsletter. If you don't want to support the channel, I don't care. Hope you guys all have a great day, and we'll catch you all in the next video.